Hey everybody, it's me, Alex from Third Rate Minion, here to give you the review of Third Rate Minion's coverage of news of the month of August 2010. Don't forget to go to the website, thirdrateminion.com, to go to see the blog itself, and I'm updating it and making it more website-like because the website seems to be moving rather slow in its production. That means reviews will also be coming up shortly, regardless of the fact that the website itself is not launched fully yet. In the meantime, here's the monthly review for August 2010. I got a lot to talk about, so I move relatively fast. First things first, Electronic Arts announced Create to be in development. It's essentially the Incredible Machine, where people can make their own levels and puzzles and so forth. It's coming out for all systems. The only version that can't share levels online is the Wii, expected. End of the year, release coming soon. NBA Jam is no longer fully Wii exclusive. NBA Jam will be available for those who purchase NBA Elite 11 for the Xbox 360 or PS3. This version will not have the Remix Tour, which is available only on the Wii version of the game. And of course, the online capabilities of the Wii version are still in question, but they're guaranteed to work on the other two versions. Torchlight 2 was announced, and Torchlight is a PC game akin to Diablo, and most likely the sequel will be out, and maybe even the third one before the next Diablo actually comes out. Your Doodles Are Bug, an Xbox Live indie game developed by Spin Doctor, is actually being brought to the PC with the help of Blitz 1-Up. Blitz 1-Up has helped brought such games as Clover and Weapon of Choice to the PC, and seems to be helping other independent developers move games to other consoles. Batman Arkham City has finally been given a title. The game is planned for a fall 2011 release. Just Dance for Kids was announced by Ubisoft. Much like the other Just Dance games, the games will have you dance around, except this time it'll use songs from Yo Gabba Gabba and the Wiggles. The Wii has finally sold over 30 million units in America alone. Last month, Double Fine announced that they were making 4 games. Well, the first game was announced in August, and that game was Costume Quest, a game where you're a young boy or young girl moving around and doing trick-or-treating and having monsters to fight and turning into the giant creatures in which you've portrayed in costumes. Pretty cool concept, and can't wait to see it in October. Borderlands 4th DLC has been announced. This one, Claptrap's New Robot Revolution, will allow you to fight against evil Claptraps and other robotic menaces. Space Assassin. GoldenEye 007 will have a bundle attached to it, in which you have a Classic Controller Pro with it. Plated gold, of course. The NPD data for July 2010 came out, in which case the top-selling game was NCAA Football 2011, followed by Crackdown 2. The top-selling system was the Xbox 360, which continued to sell well thanks to the new release of the console. Irrational Games announced their next big project, Bioshock Infinite. This one seems to look like the Bioshock, but in the sky. This one is coming out in 2012, so hopefully the world doesn't end then. Julian Gullup, the creator of XCOM, has announced that he is making a 3DS turn-based strategy game. No information other than that, really. Tony Hawk's Shred was announced by Activision Blizzard, and turns out this one utilizes both skateboarding and snowboarding, probably to fight off against the upcoming Shaun White skateboarding, which comes out for all consoles later this year as well. GhostCon will be having 2 games released, one for the PSP and one for the Wii. The PSP version, Ghost Recon Predator, will allow you to be an actual Ghost Recon member going into Sri Lanka, whereas the other game, just called Ghost Recon, is essentially a co-op rail shooter of sorts. Then came the European E3 Gamescom. I seem to have forgotten all about this one when I talked about there being no news in August. Stupid me. First, Square Enix announced Gun Loco, a crazy shooter game which seems to be using characters that came from Twisted Metal, or look like they did. They're actually designed by a famous toy maker, using the actual models scanned into the game. Red Faction Battlegrounds was announced by THQ. This type of game is a DLC product where which you play in cars and destroy other cars. Pretty much what you'd expect from a Red Faction game. Could be interesting. Real-Time Worlds, the developer of APB and Project My World, has gone through some major problems and is almost hitting bankruptcy. Most of the development teams have been laid off, with the exception of a small support team for APB. Back to THQ. THQ announced the U-Draw Game Tablet, a new peripheral for the Wii where you slide in the Wii Remote and essentially use it as a game tablet. The peripheral will come for $70 with the drawing application, and 2 other games will be available by the end of the year for $30 apiece. Ratchet & Clank All for One was announced by Insomniac, as well as Resistance 3, but we didn't cover that. Ratchet & Clank All for One is a 4-player multiplayer co-op game utilizing characters from the series Ratchet & Clank, Nefarious, and Captain Quark. Looks very interesting, comes out fall 2011. Nintendo is pushing Metroid Other M with its cinematic trailers, its bad UK trailers, and its weird variations between storyline in Japan and video game concept. So, Grasshopper Manufacture and Digital Reality are announced that they're working on several games together, the first of which is Sine Mora. Sine Mora is a space shooter where 3D graphics and the ability to change time seem to be the major focus. No information or screenshots other than what we've been told. Sega finally gave some hints of what Sonic the Hedgehog 4's updates will be. One of them is that the second act of Lost Labyrinth Zone has been completely revamped. Rather than using nothing but minecarts, the level will now have you use a torch. Valve released a teaser of the Portal 2 co-op mode this past month, but apparently the game was playable at PAX just a few days ago, so this is almost meaningless. PopCap announced that Plants vs. Zombies would be coming to the DS. Not sure how that works with the screen size or anything. Comes out January 2011. The Xbox Live Arcade version of Plants vs. Zombies comes out this week. Hothead Games announced that there's actually a sequel for Deathspank happening this month, called Deathspank Thongs of Virtue. This game will have you traveling into more mechanized and civilized areas, or maybe even less civilized areas. It's hard to tell. Red Spot Games announced that it is bringing Rush Rush Rally Racing to WiiWare. R4 was originally a Dreamcast indie game, which was published in the end of 2009 and is now being revamped and brought to WiiWare. So, have fun with that. DJ Heroes 2's song list has finally been unveiled, but unfortunately we don't know what the actual mixes are, save a few. So, that's really non-news now, is it? Acclaim is gone. Again. Acclaim Games, a company which purchased Acclaim's name back in 2004, had originally been working on releasing MMOs from Asia to Europe and America. It got purchased by Playdom, and then Playdom got purchased by Disney, and unfortunately Acclaim Games was not part of it. So Acclaim Games shut down mere months after being purchased by Playdom. Horrible decisions on their part. A Disney Epic Mickey Collector's Edition was announced. This edition will consist of a making-of disc, a figurine of Mickey, and a few skins for the Wii Remote and the Wii console. That and the game itself, of course. I mean, why would you get the Collector's Edition if it didn't come with the game? Team 17 announced that it is no longer working with third-party publishers and is now strictly working on downloadable content. Team 17 is the team behind Worms and Alien Breed. Apparently they're also working on publishing indie games to PC and the other downloadable systems. Xbox Live Gold memberships are announced to be going up in price starting November for those who live in the US, the UK, Mexico, Canada, and a few others, I'm sure. The price will be $10, going from $50 to $60, starting November 1st. And of course, if you better buy them now, because they're just going to keep going up, so. On the plus side, Xbox Live Arcade's Game Feast has been announced this past month. Consisting of 4 games starting at the end of September, it should be an interesting romp for the people playing games in the fall. Consisting of Hydrophobia, Comic Jumper, Pinball FX2, and ending with Super Meat Boy, it's going to be interesting. All games are $15, except for Pinball FX2, which we don't know the price because it's all based on each particular table. Terpicular. Finally, Nintendo's announced that it is dropping the price of the DSi and DSi XL in mid-September at the price of $20 apiece. That's interesting because now it means that the highest selling system is only about $170, $150 or so. The DSi XL, of course. This gives rumors that Nintendo's 3DS will actually be coming out this year at a lower price than expected. But we don't know. We just don't know. We just don't know. And that's August 2010 for you, at least as far as Therm sees it. If we missed anything in particular that you want us to talk about, feel free to tell us in the comments below. Now, what do I think about what's coming up in September 2010? In a way, I've kind of cheated. We're already a month in September, and I already can tell you, without a doubt, that September is going to be one of the biggest months of news in the past few months. Which is weird, because E3 was only like 3 months ago. Between PAX Prime 2010, which is happening right now, with me on the East Coast, and then, of course, you also got Tokyo Game Show in Japan in a few weeks. And then you got Nintendo's official 3DS announcements. That's going to be a big blowout of information there, folks. Unless Nintendo is being ninja-like again and making us all go like this. What's the story of the month for August 2010? I was going to say Bioshock Infinite, but that game's coming out in 2 years. The announcement seemed to be a bit far away for me. The U-Draw game tablet looks pretty cool for a peripheral, but at the same time, the software is not really pushing it as much as I was hoping to see. In my opinion, the big announcement I really liked the most this month was probably Costume Quest, mainly due to the fact that the game is essentially an idea that everyone should have thought of. I mean, who doesn't want to be the creature that they dressed up as for Halloween, unless their parents made their costume and made them into a fairy princess? I don't judge. Alright? That's me, Alex, Third Rate Minion. I'm gonna go have some grilled cheese sandwiches with burgers in between.